Dun, 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 dun.
I'm so on top of things with this project that there's not even an IMDb page for more information on it yet. There's nothing about this movie in terms of being on IMDb. It's called Calls. Again, this is an exclusive Apple TV production, and it sounds really interesting. Not only to have like kind of interesting thumbnail, like, this looks pretty cool, but wait till you hear the synopsis. Ooh, this gets good. Introducing Calls, a show unlike any you've seen or heard before. This groundbreaking new series is told entirely for 12-minute phone conversations, featuring Nick Jonas, Lily Collins, Pedro Pascal, and more. Watch Calls on the Apple TV app with the Apple TV subscription. There's a link there for you to join. Based on the buzzy French series of the same name, Calls is a groundbreaking immersive television experience that masterfully uses only audio and minimal abstract visuals to tell bone-chilling, snackable stories. Launching in a binge model worldwide, all 9 12-minute episodes are told through a series of phone calls that use sharp writing, compelling voice talent, and graphics to aid in transcribing the darkly dramatic conversation onto the screen. These relatable scenarios transport the audience into familiar situations that quickly become surreal and with thrilling and frightening moments. Featuring Lily Collins, Rosario Dawson, Mark Duplass, and more, Calls proves that the real terror lies in one's interpretation of what they cannot see on the screen and the unsettling places one's imagination can take them. Doesn't that sound great for a thriller? I love that premise. Again, it's very original. There's a lot to take in with that synopsis. But I love the star power. You've got Rosario Dawson on here, Pedro Pascal, Nick Jonas, Lily Collins, and Mark Duplass, and probably even more than that, a whole bunch of big names. I'm really surprised here for a project of this magnitude. There really isn't an IMDb page yet. You think they'd have that ready to go? Maybe it was a surprise. Maybe it was, but I'm sure it'll get one in the future. But this sounds really promising. I don't know when it's going to be releasing yet. It doesn't say. Maybe they'll say on the trailer. But I'm very intrigued by this. I can't wait to watch it. Let's take a look. Let's see some of these phone calls in action. It's almost kind of like those thrillers of like the Zoom call setup, but now you're getting just phone calls with some, I think it said some graphic illustrations and graphics to aid in transcribing the darkly dramatic conversations onto the screen. Yeah, okay, this is going to be really fascinating. Let's take a look. We're going to watch this first trailer for Calls, and then we're going to talk about it more, make a dense review segment for us watching the video together. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
I was wondering if you could come see me today? See you.
This is almost like
Sure. Is everything okay?
Hooked. Just a little bit. Listen carefully.
Hey, babe.
Hey, so, how's life? Sarah?
Daddy!
How's my little girl?
Mommy's crying in her room. She said you were on a trip and that we might not see you for a long time.
What?
Joey King, too. I told you got prestigious
We can't
talent.
explain. What are you saying?
Karen Gillan, Judy Greer. Oh, I'm happy with this.
I just heard the weirdest noise outside my window.
Look at these names.
It's all in your head. You think I'm making this all up? Can you hear the words I'm saying right now? Do not come here.
Listen to me. We've had a lot of strange calls.
Something's happening out there, and not just to me.
So, wait a second. They're all connected? March 19th. Wow. That is intriguing. Now, I know personally, like, this is like it's just not something you get to watch. Well, I'm assuming you have to watch it, but just know who's speaking and all that. But doesn't this look good? Very original. I love shows like this, and especially when I talk about stuff that's like more so in the thriller horror genre. Right up my alley. I love this. And the star power. I mean, let's go over all these names. All of them. Nick Jonas, Lily Collins. Most of these, again, we already heard from Rosario Dawson. Joey King, that's great. Pedro Pascal. Mark Duplass, Karen Gillan, Judy Greer, Aubrey Plaza. Okay. Danny Pudi, Paul Walter Hauser. Heard that name. I can't put a face to it at the moment. Jaden Martell, Riley Keough. I don't recognize that name. Aaron Taylor Johnson. I wonder if that's not why he's on WandaVision. Maybe. Ben Schwartz, Jennifer Tilly. Let me know these names. And Jennifer Tilly was in she was a Chucky actress. Yeah. A lot of big names for this project. But probably it's easier to do because you're like, well, we're technically like voice acting, just kind of like a garbled telephone call. This is going to be really interesting. And the fact they seem like they're interconnected, or at least that's what was suggested here, because they say 9 immersive calls, 1 connection. Maybe that could mean, one connection in terms of, like a one-way conversation on the phone, or they mean all of these types of phone calls have a certain mystery that they're building to. That would be, like, each one is like a puzzle piece trying to put this whole thing together, what's going on. That would be a great premise. I love the idea of it. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that series. Again, it's not something that it's kind of like an extension from like the webcam type movies. Some of the horror films we've seen, like with Blumhouse, like Unfriended, those types of films. This is different. This is a literal phone conversation. A very different means, right? You don't have the visual component. You can't see the reactions. You can only hear things. Even though you're getting like a really funky digital phone call presentation, which kind of reminded me, at least of the way it started, at least in the format of like, here's one person down there, there's one person there, and the quotes follow along the side. It kind of reminded me of some of Hooked stories. For those of you who don't know, Hooked was I don't know if they're still around. I don't know. Their price point was, I'm going to cover some of their stuff in the future, believe it or not. I've had them on the list for a long time. I just never got around to covering it. They're an interesting service, I'll tell you that. It is kind of a streaming service. It's just very different. It's not exactly, they're mostly like short stories. They do a couple visual programs, but they're mostly short stories, like little, like reading type materials. And you can get like the audio, there's an audio version that reads through them. It's an interesting service, I will tell you that. But the look of this was certainly reminiscent. I'll talk about it more one day. And again, it's been a while since I've actually looked it up. But other YouTubers like Drew Gooden, I think, talked about. I don't know if I thought Danny, or like his friend Danny Gonzalez did. I don't know. I know Drew did. It's such a weird streaming service. It really is. Those videos were kind of funny. I'll tell you that. It's a weird one. We'll talk about that one in the future. But in terms of calls, this is very well done. I'm very impressed with this new format, at least of storytelling. It's not like anything I've ever covered before. I've never covered anything on this channel with like thriller telephone calls. It's very well done. Very much a fresh breath of air. What do you guys think, though, about calls? Again, there's not much information to go on beyond what the trailer says and what the synopsis presents us with, but again, the originality to this is certainly enough to get me invested. Feel free to let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to stuff, likes, over that bell, and until our next Apple TV show, maybe another trailer for Calls, considering we have a little while to go. A couple weeks, actually, so I'm filming this. I will see you guys at that point, but for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Love you, fellow man. God bless, and peace.